Welcome back to my little corner. I am BB Morgan, Beatrice B. Morgan, fantasy author, avid reader, and this is just a little vlog series that I wanted to do to pull back the curtain of just what it's like to be an author, what it takes to write a book. And I am documenting my writing process this year. My original goal was to start a new project in January and then document from start to finish. That didn't happen. It didn't go that way. I had one project that I wanted to get finished by the new year. I paused, and then I worked on another project in December. And then January came, and I came back to the original projects that I was working on before the other one got in the way. That's just, that's a fun part of being an author, I think. Just getting your plans derailed and then having other ideas come in when you're trying to look at one idea. Then here comes another idea, and it's just all the ideas fight sometimes. I don't remember exactly where I left off with my last vlog because I had started the High Fantasy Quartet. I finished book 3. Book 1, 2, and 3 are now in the hands of my editor, and I am on book 4, if I remember correctly, and I'm not going to pull up my vlog to find out. That's too much work for me right now. I had got to the point in book 4. I had read back through the first bit that I had that I feel good about. I feel comfortable about it. And I had gotten to the point where I needed to focus more, where the story started to fall apart. And that's what I was doing this past weekend. Yeah, because I only really write on the weekends because I don't write during the week because I have a full-time job and I don't have that privilege to just be a full-time writer yet. One day, maybe I will. But I've been working on book 4. That has been my main goal. I have not let any other projects get in the way. And I haven't thought about what I'm going to do after this. I have been trying my absolute best to focus solely on book 4 to get this series done, get it out of my hard drive, get it off my desk, get it on a shelf. Because I've got so many projects that are just sitting and waiting for me to have the time and motivation and energy to go back to them. And I have so little time to write in comparison. I think I've just been in a mood the last couple days because and I don't know if it's because I've been thinking about this or, and like, how you think about something and then like you just kind of see things that remind you of that something. And I don't know if it's because I'm just thinking about it more, so I'm noticing more or what. But I've been thinking about like how much more I could get done if I were a full-time author. Like, I wouldn't just have to write on Saturdays and I wouldn't have to like push myself to get through, as much as I could in that very brief time to write that I have. I could like quit when I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling this scene. I'm going to come back to this tomorrow. But I don't have that option because Saturday is really the only time that I have. I'm getting more and more irritated every time I see or hear some other author talking about how like that they who don't have full-time jobs talk about how busy they are and how like, oh, well, they just can't get this and this done, they just have to work on this, oh, they just have to work on their book. And I'm just bitter, okay? Like, I would love to sit home and just have nothing to do but working on a book. And I would love to not have this emotionally exhausting full-time job that takes all of my energy some days. But I don't because I have bills to pay and I don't have a sugar daddy to pay things for me. Well, that went off on a tangent. I didn't foresee it going on. Coming back to my original thought, I am on the part of book 4 where my original draft falls off. And this is the part where I have gotten to multiple times and I have known that it needs something and I have just never had the energy for this specific book. But now I do. And I think some of that is just trying to work on book 4 without knowing if there's like some major flaw in book 1 that's going to change the entire series and want to rewrite the entire thing. Or just not knowing whether or not the book is even going to find like a readership. like not knowing if anyone's even going to want book 4. That has been something that's always kind of knocked me down when I try to work on this series, or if I try to work on a series that's not like published. I've had a lot of success in the past year with Stars and Bones. We made the first book free and the entire series is out now, and I've gotten so many more reviews and I've gotten so many more sales with that series. So I feel more confident about like putting another series out there because I know that the tactic of having the complete series and making the first book free, I know that tactic works and it works well for me, but it's just trying to work on book 4 when book 1 isn't out yet. If that, it makes sense. It's just that not knowing if the series is good, not knowing if there's a major flaw, not knowing if you're going to have to like rewrite everything that you're doing, and just not having the drive to get it done. But we have moved forward with the idea that we're going to rapid release this quartet. So I have got more energy, I guess. I have more of that, the vibe of the story. I'm ready to get in. I've been living eyeball deep in this book since whenever I started rereading the series. It was like the fall, I think, of last year fall. So I know the characters, I know the plot, I know what needs to happen. I just have to be in the mindset to take the very rough draft and turn it into like a first or second draft. Because like the first half of this book, the first 70,000 words were good. They were more of like a second or third draft. The middle of this book was really first draft stage. A lot needed to change. There was a lot of just trying to stage, what do they call that, like in like theater, when like it's just you're trying to what goes where, and like where all the props are and where the characters need to be standing. What is that called? Blocking? I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like that's what it is. Like when you block a screenplay, like you're just trying to get all of like the pieces where they need to be so scenes can flow better. That's kind of what I've been doing to this middle chunk. I'm just trying to figure it out because the chapters move very quickly. Like there's several very high emotional points that like the entire series has been working up to, and I don't want those to be rushed and feel like they're not worth like the lead up to those points. And so that is the chunk of the story that I did last weekend. And in comparison to like rereading of 70,000 words, no, it's not as many words, but I feel like I have accomplished something because I made that middle chunk, like several chapters, make more sense. Like it feels more of a natural progression through the scenes. And I'm not just forcing my characters to be here or there so something else can happen. I want it to feel natural. I feel good about the work that I've done. I feel good about it. I feel good about this draft. I feel good about the series as a whole. I have this sinking feeling that because this past weekend ended on like a successful note, and I feel good about the work I've done, I'm going to move into this next weekend not feeling that same way because it up and down. It goes up and down, and I just kind of have this not like an anxiety. It's more of like a that like when you are driving to work, right, or driving somewhere and you hit every single green light on the way there and you're sitting in the parking lot just with that knowing feeling of something is about to happen. The other shoe is going to fall. When's it going to happen? What's going to happen? Something's going to happen. Things are going too good. And I think it's that same like sense of like when you're reading a book and everything is going good, all of the characters are happy, all of the dominoes are lining up, and you've got 100 pages left. Something is gonna happen. What's gonna happen in those 100 pages? I don't know. You don't know. That's like that same sense of just that ball of this like, so I hope it doesn't do that way. And I'm hoping to kind of get into my next writing session and just tackle the next chunk of story, because this next part, like going from like a very rough draft and moving it into a first draft, it's takes more time than just doing like a read through and like changing a few things here and there, because I'm not looking at like grammar or like sentences. I'm not looking at those types of things. I'm not looking at small picture things. I'm looking at big picture things. I'm looking at blocking out scenes and like making sure all the characters have a purpose and trying to make sure that I haven't forgotten any characters, because I already have one character that I have forgotten in book 4 who was in book 3 that I contemplated killing off in book 3 because I forgot him in book 4, but then I didn't have anywhere for him to like, be conveniently narratively killed off without making it seem like I'm just knocking off a character because I don't want him in the story anymore. And I don't want to do that. I want it to feel purposeful, but not like it's pointless. These are the problems I have as a writer. I need to kill this person, but I need to make it feel natural. I need to make it look like it was an accident. So I'm hoping to go into this next weekend and tackle like at least a couple scenes. Like, I don't need to do the entire third act. That's not going to happen. It's too much. And I don't write as quickly as I used to. And I think I have this thing where I keep comparing everything that I'm doing to like that mad sprint dumpster fire that ended up being the first draft of Stars and Bones, the first book, because I wrote that entire first draft in like a week. I could not stop thinking about it. That is all I did. And of course, I had a low stress part-time job. I had a lot of days that I could just sit home and write. And I have seriously considered like getting another part-time job just so I have more time to write, cuz yes, I am comfortable in like my living standard. Could it be better? Yes. Could it be a lot worse? Oh yeah. But like, do I go with like a lower stress part-time job so I have more time to write and take that gamble of some book taking off, or do I keep my financial stability? Stability. Financial stability. This is kind of the conundrum that I have. This is why I would like to teach, because I feel like, you get a lot of days off. You have the whole summer off. I could read a whole book in the summer, have more than like 6 paid holidays. Healthcare is not fun. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not fun. I don't hate it, but it's not fun. And I have no idea when this quartet is going to be released. We haven't talked about that yet. We wanted to wait until the new year, and also just until the series was done, because book 4 was really in limbo the last time we talked about publication. It might not be this year. If it is, it'll be late this year, because as they have to look at it, they've got to read it. And they also have lives. So that is my author update for this week. It's not bad. It's just kind of a very neutral update. Very positive update. It's neutral, but it's also positive. I mean, it on a whole, it's good. I'm feeling good about this draft. I'm feeling good about this project. I'm feeling good about several other potential projects that could be my next project. But again, I have forbidden myself from thinking about any other project until book 4 is done, until this draft of book 4 is done. Then I can think about another project. And depending on how I feel about book 4, I might jump right back into book 4, or I might have to go freshen my palate with something else. Not freshen. What is that word? Cleanse. Cleanse my palate with something else. Kind of like how I kept trying to read romanticides and they were all just really falling flat, so I had to go read some horror to really cleanse that palate. Worked. And I'm reading another horror right now because I tried to started another romanticide that's real popular, and it's just I got to like a certain point, like very, very common trope that I really don't like was introduced, and it's one of those where I know exactly what is happening, but of course the main character is absolutely clueless. And then we spend the next 40% of this book her trying to figure it out, and no one wants to tell her what's happening. Like, I know what's happening, and this is frustrating. Maybe I'm just not feeling fantasy right now. I don't know. I'm also not feeling hair right now. But that was my author update. Thank you for joining me. If you like this kind of content, this nice chill kind of vlog I've got going on, feel free to subscribe. You can follow this journey with me. You can watch this train wreck happen week by week. But I will see you next week, hopefully with another positive update. Or I could be talking about the dumpster fire of a plot hole that I found. Who knows? I don't know either.